Leeds International School, Form 1, First Term, English Language, Grammar to 14, page 68. Objects. Objectives of this lesson. Learning the objects of the sentences. Learning the direct object of a sentence. Learning the indirect object of a sentence. Learning the compound objects. Learning transitive and intransitive verbs. Contents. Direct objects, indirect objects, starting point, going further and further still. Direct objects. Now we have gone to the lesson, children. Look at this one. In your book also you can see this. Look at this one. The object of a sentence within brackets or a clause is the person or thing that is acted upon by the verb. What is that? Did you understand it? Let's see. The subject carries out the action. The direct object is the object of that action. Didn't you understand? If I tell like this, right? If we take a sentence, there is a subject, verb and object in a sentence. When the verb is giving orders, object is helping the verb to complete the action of the sentence. That is told here. That is the simple meaning of these two sentences, right? Look at this one. Look at this example. The player threw the ball into the net. The subject is the player. What is he doing? What did he do? He threw. Then you should go to the verb and ask a question. Threw. Threw. What? Then the verb will give us the answer. Through what? The ball. Then we can identify what is the object. That is what children told in above sentences. The ball is the direct object because the ball is helping the verb through to complete the sentence, to complete the action. Look at this second example. You will understand more. She thanked Ben profusely for his present. Here, thanked is the verb. Then you should go to the verb and ask the question, thanked. What? Oh, whom? To whom? Thank to Ben. Then Ben is the direct object. Here, Ben, the direct object, helps the verb to complete the sentence, to complete the action. Did you understand, children? Okay. Let's go to compound objects. When there are two or more people or things, there can be people or things, okay, in an object, that object is called a compound object. Look at this example. When we go with example, it is very easy to understand. The headmaster greeted the parents and students of the school. When we go to the verb, greeted. Greeted. To whom? The parents and students of the school. There is no one person in the object. There are two. Then parents and students. Two words. Then this object can be called a compound object because there are two pieces, more than one piece in the object. Look at this example, second one, children. I wanted to buy some chairs, a table, 2 armchairs and a wardrobe. Here, buy. What? What did you buy? Here, not one thing. Some chairs, a table, 2 armchairs and a wardrobe. Since there are more words in the object, we call this one compound object. Chairs, a table, 2 armchairs and wardrobe. That is called compound object. Let's go to next slide, children. Intransitive verb. What is that? Look at this example, then you will understand what is an intransitive verb. The bell rang along the valley. No problem. The subject is the bell. Rang out is the object. Rang out is the object. Sorry, I was wrong here. Rang out is the verb. Rang out is the verb. Right? I was looking at the object. Here, what is the object, children? There is no object. There is no object. Then, when there is no object for a verb, it is called intransitive verb. Here, rang out is the intransitive verb because it has got no object to complete the sentence. Earlier I was wrong. Rang out is not the object, it is the verb of the sentence. Okay, let's go to next one. Transitive verb. The player threw the ball into the net. I took that earlier example we took earlier. Here, the verb of the sentence is threw. Here, when we go to the verb, we can ask question. Player threw. What? What did he throw? Threw what? Then verb is giving us the answer, the ball. Then this verb has got an object. Then we call it transitive verb because it has got an object. When there is an object for a verb, we call it transitive verb. Okay, let's move on to next slide. Indirect objects. What are indirect objects? Let's see with these examples, then you will understand better. First one, she paid him the money. She paid him the money. Here, when we go to the verb paid, we can ask a question. Paid. Paid what? Then verb is giving answer, money. Paid money. Then money is the direct object. Money is the direct object because it is directly acted upon by the verb. It is directly acted upon by the verb. Right? Next one. Him. Him is the indirect object of this sentence because it isn't directly acted upon by the verb. Right? Let's go to second example. The next morning, the club sold fans the tickets for the final. Here, when we go to the verb sold, the club sold, sold what? Then the verb is giving us the answer, the tickets. Then ticket is the direct object because it is directly acted upon by the verb. Here, the fans is the indirect object since it isn't directly acted upon by the verb. Okay. Let's go to next one, children. Now you may have got a problem how to identify direct object and indirect objects. Best way is go to the verb and ask the question, what or who. When the verb is giving the answer, we should take that answer as the direct object. Other object is the indirect object. There's another way. Most often, indirect objects have prepositions in front of them. Remember, not always. Many times we omit preposition. Look at this one. I gave it to him. Here, gave. What? It. Then it is the direct object. Then other object is the indirect object. Right? Because there is a preposition. But normally you are not given like this. Normally writers are omitting The preposition. Look at this one. I gave him it. I gave him it. Then we cannot use this method. Then we will have to go to the verb and ask the question. Gave what? It. First, my advice is first find direct object. Then if you want, you can find the indirect object easily. Right, children? I believe you understood this lesson. Now let's go to starting point, children. Pick out the objects in the following slogans. You have been given 4 slogans here. Drink a pint of milk a day. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Buy one today. Your country needs you. Your country needs you has been taken from our comprehension lesson. I remember that war lesson. Lesson about war. Right. Here I'll take first one as my example. Drink a pint of milk a day. Oh my God, where is the subject here? Don't worry, children. This is a command. Command hasn't got a subject. There is a hidden subject. Right? Imagine you drink a pint of milk a day. You is not shown here because it is a command. Commands are started with a verb. Drink a pint of milk. Drink. What? Pint of milk. Then pint of milk is the object. In that way you can find the objects of others, not sentences, slogans. Okay. Let's go to going further now. Pick out the direct and the indirect objects in the following sentences. Here you can follow that method that I told. Go to the verb and ask the question. When the verb is giving the answer, it is the direct object. Other object is the indirect object. Okay, let's go to the example. She addressed her remarks directly to him. Address is the verb. Then go to the verb. Let's go. Address. What? Address what? Remarks. Verb is giving the answer, remarks. Then remarks is the direct object. Then other object, him, it is the indirect object. Okay, children, let's next one. Further still, you have got 2 activities here, 1 and 2. First one, read the following article and pick out 10 examples of direct objects. First one, scientists who have been analyzing the result of a series. Here, if you follow my method, scientists have been analyzing. Analyzing what? Then the verb is giving us answer, result. Then it is the object. Okay. In that way, you can find other objects, direct objects. Okay. Result is the direct object, first one. Other direct objects also you can find. Second one. Read the following opening to a story. Story opening. Okay. Okay. And pick out 5 examples of indirect objects. Here you should find indirect objects. First of all, you should find the direct object. The direct object. Then easily you can find the indirect object. Look at the first one. I told him the bad news on a dark, sinister night in November. Told. What? Bad news. Verb is giving the answer, bad news. It is the direct object. We don't want the direct object here. We want to find the indirect object. When we remove direct object, then the other object, him, is the indirect object. In that way, you can find other indirect objects. You should find 5 indirect objects. Okay, children? I believe you understood that. Let's see the summary of the lesson. Here in this lesson we learned there are direct objects in sentences. That is clear. Also we learned there are indirect objects in sentences. I told you how to find them. Compound objects contain more than one person or thing. Next one, intransitive verbs have no objects. That is how we find intransitive verbs. Transitive verbs have objects. If you have learned passive voice, only transitive verbs can make passive sentences. Okay, children. Reference: Oxford Grammar to 14 by Don Siak. Thank you for listening to my lesson, children.